players in the team. Keep a great company in the stream.
It's a Murali End. Welcome to the show. We're here when you're high. We're here when you're low. Some days you're happy, some days you wanna win. When happy, it's we, when mad, it's them. It's a safe place, Murali End. Sri Lanka cricket, we gon' represent. So tell a friend.
Welcome to the Murali End. My name's Mark Machado. I'm joined by my cousin Dominic Machado. I am stonkingly hungover today because I had a surprise stag do yesterday. We don't need to talk about that. But we're meant to be talking about Sri Lanka's third loss in a three match series against Pakistan, and they all played like they were on the stag do with me, and that they'd been drinking and partying and having a good time into the early mornings of early this morning. It was all in all quite an atrocious performance today, Dom. We'll get into it. Of course, if you want to join us, hit the subscribe, hit that follow, leave us your comments, leave us your likes. If you're listening to the podcast, you can leave your comments in the Spotify app as well. If you listen to Spotify, I think other apps have a way to comment as well. And we'll try and get to them. We're, of course, on the road to the World Cup. That's in February next year in Sri Lanka, in Colombo. How lucky is all the other cricket teams? They get to come to our place.
Yep.
And we start the Tri-Series, which is a key part of that on Tuesday, the 18th. Murali End will be with you, of course, all the way through this road to the World Cup. Well, hopefully got a preview of the Tri-Series coming tomorrow, and we'll be, of course, doing the live reaction shows just like this as well. If you want to come on and have a chat with us, I'll put the link in the description as well, so you can come in and have a chat. Say maybe sometimes we don't need to talk about cricket on this show. Maybe today's one of those days, but we do need to talk about that performance today, or kind of lack off. What's your takeaways, big takeaways from that today, Dom?
I mean, I'm starting to sound like a broken record here. Same problem with the batting. Starts, but no finishes. We had probably like 15, 20 plus scores and only 150 from these three matches. There was not much intent. There was sort of, it was just a very insipid, tepid, poor performance from the batting unit. And I think this is one of we are starting to not see, because it's been true, but one of the realities of the way we've been playing at home is that it leads to results like this. We are now 5-18 in away ODIs since 2021, and we have lost 8 of our 9 last bilateral ODI series, with the only series win coming against Zimbabwe. So clearly what we've been doing at home has not been working, and has not been translating to overseas. I think we've won like 9 ODI series in a row at home. I think when I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about this, the fact that our batters get starts doesn't means that the problem isn't the quality of the batters. The batters know how to get in, they know how to bat, but the way they're batting is just absolutely poor. And I think the finger, I try generally not to point fingers, but I think the finger has to be pointed at Sanath at this point. We kind of had a strategy in ODIs post the 2023 World Cup where we were going to prepare good pitches. We were going to try to score big runs, and we're going to try to practice doing that because that was kind of our downfall. And now we've totally reversed that. And now we struggle to score 300 on a good batting wicket. It's poor performance. It's poor management. The sort of cricketing sense of where the game is going and how they're playing just isn't there. Pawan Ratnayaka makes his debut today, something that's been long anticipated, and they slot him in at the 7 slot, which is not at all where he bats in any form of cricket. And it's just frustrating to see. This was just a poor display of cricket management. You also see someone like Vandersay, right? Props to Vandersay for playing well, for producing whenever he plays, but he's 35 years old. It's 10 years too late for him. We should have been giving him chances in 2015 and 2016 and 2017, but we didn't. And it's just a very frustrating sight to see how poorly managed this team, how little foresight this team has, and what the ending result is. Yes, we'll be able to win matches on the talent of our players because we do have some players who are very talented, but we are not going to consistently become a very good side in white ball cricket unless we change the way we approach the game.
Should we have a look at the 11 from today? Because you mentioned that Pavan Ratnayake made its debut. There's a lot of talk online about why this opener or top order batters is debuting at 7. We'll get into that as well. Some few big names missing. Charles Lanka. I woke up this morning and the first thing I said when I was able to charge my phone and look at the score or look at the team sheet early on was what's happened to Wani? Where is Wani? Charles Lanka out the side as well because of he's not feeling well. I think Wani, it sounds like it's just a bit of rest and rotation for him. I'm cool with that. And they changed the bowlers as well. Chamira and Asita are out. It felt today like a game of kind of Sunday cricket. Who hasn't played that much? I know we've been talking about Ishan Malinga for a while, and we all love seeing Jeffrey Van der Sar. You know, the man always delivers for us, right? But it kind of right. I get that they've lost the series coming into this game, but I'm really unclear on who they think. It doesn't matter what I think. Who the management seem to think is our best 11 at this point. And I'm really clear. I'm really stuck on what is the plan for us to win cricket matches here, because it just seems to be kind of turn up and try and play, but at this level that's not going to work. We've got to have a strategy. We've got to have some sort of identity if I want to play cricket. And Sri Lanka, the great Sri Lanka teams in the past have done that. South Africa's at the forefront of that.
And well, I think that's the thing that's so shocking, right? I think everyone was saying this team needs an identity, it needs a clear path forward, and we've lost that direction. We've clearly lost that direction. At least, we can criticize Mahela on a number of things, but at least he had a vision for what way the team was going. I don't see what the vision is at this point. There was no, the selections don't make sense. The batting order, the batting lineups don't make sense. We're not playing cricket in the 1990s anymore. We've got to update the way we play cricket. We've got to take those things into account. And it's just frustrating to see these same errors happen time and again, and the same issues happen time and again. And I don't want to sound like a broken record because I know I am, but it feels like it needs to be said very clearly. We can look at the players, we can say, yes, they didn't play up to their standard. But at this point, the continuation of these issues, the struggles away from home, the inability to bat on good batting tracks, that speaks to problem with the management, problem with strategy, problem with being able to see the big picture. Winning a few series at home isn't going to turn us into a world champion. And I think we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and really assess. Mark, you said we're 6 months away, probably less. No, probably 4 months away from
4 months away.
T20 World Cup. We need to look in the mirror and assess ourselves and ask ourselves, what is our identity? How are we going to play? What is our way to win these World Cup matches? Because just showing up and turning up, it's going to be a disaster if we do that. And I'm going to say it here, and people might not like me saying this. We may lose to an associate side if we continue to show up without plans, without sort of forethought on how we're going to win these games, who's going to bowl for us, who's going to bat for us, what are we going to do in different phases of the game. And that's just upsetting to me because the talent in this squad is there. When you look at the ages of the guys who are coming in, they're 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. We say this is a young team. Yeah, it's younger than Australia, but this is not a team that's full of 21 and 22-year-olds. It's time to get going. It's time for someone to take hold of this team, give them a vision, give them direction, and let them take flight.
So we've talked a lot about plans, and it can be frustrating for us as people who watch fans who watch every single game. And firstly, I think it's important to remember that we all our criticism of the team comes from a good place. It's because we want Sri Lanka to win, and we know that we could be performing a lot better and be outperforming where we currently are. I'm going to say something that I think is going to upset a few people, and I don't want to upset. I don't know if anyone in and around the team watches this. Who knows? I like to think that maybe people watch this to kind of just to learn and to discover kind of how other fans are thinking about things. When I look at this squad, and I look at the coaching, and I look at the way they're set up behind their laptops during the game, and you look at the way they talk about the game and how they're setting up during the press conference, it appears to me that actually they do have a plan, even though we can't see it necessarily about what's going on in the field. And that makes you think that one of two things is happening: either the plans are rubbish, the way in which that they think they can win games is wrong, and it's easy to counterattack them and for the opposition to get ahead of themselves, or we don't have the players within our squad that can execute what's being asked of them. I kind of don't think that can possibly be the case, because the plan should be around what you have in the squad, right? So maybe the coaching staff and us as fans are kind of overestimating and overrating how good our players are. Again, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if that's possible, but I do think it's possible that we're going onto the pitch with ideas for how we think we can win games, and those ideas are bad. I think, or just not working, right? I'm not.
And I think the other part too, Mark, is that there's two things that are going on. I think one, there's an overrating of the sort of an overrating of the player capability, but there's also a neutering of these players. You're taking guys who have aggressive attacking impulses and you're neutering them. I'll give you one example here. So Kusal Mendes, I think the last ODI series we had at home, he scored like a 50 off of 20 balls. And then the coaching point to him was, no, don't score 50 off of 20 balls. Slow it down, stick around the whole innings and score. That certainly has its place in the game. But literally, you have so many guys who theoretically their skill set is that they can do that they can stick around and tick the scoreboard over. What Kusal Mendes has is rare among Sri Lankan batters these days: the ability to accelerate, the ability to score quickly, and the ability to change a match in a few overs. And now we're taking that away from them. So that to me is another, frustrating part. One, we're overrating the abilities of certain players. And I'll give the example of Kamindu Mendes as one. And this does not mean that he's not a good player. What it means is that we are overrating the ability of him to fill a role at 6 or 7 as a finisher that is clearly not in his, that is not his skill set yet. I don't know if it'll ever will be, but we're using him as the proverbial finger in the dike, right? Like to just say, okay, we need to plug up this gap. And instead of letting players grow into roles in which they can thrive, we're chucking in guys who look talented and saying, okay, you go and adapt on the field. This is not cricket from 20, 30 years ago where players can adapt on the field. Every player is planned against. Every player has data on them. They come into the matches knowing this is how we're going to take advantage of the weaknesses your side has. And then when you put players not in a position to succeed, that's just a shame.
It's a real shame. Dom, let's take a quick break and then we'll come to some of the comments. If you've got thoughts and comments, leave them in the group, in the comment section on the side if you're watching. Also, if you'd like to come on stage, I've put the link for the backstage into the comment section as well. I'm sorry, I'm really hungover, which is why my brain is not thinking correctly. And also, if you can, as we go to our break, just a reminder, subscribe to Cricket Smash, because when I can get it up, I will play this ad for it. Not Cricket Smash, Football Smash.
Hi everyone, this is West Ham Park where the first ever FA Cup goal was scored. I wanted to come out here and tell you guys about Football Smash, my other channel, which is about football, or as Dominic calls it, soccer. There's loads of great content on there from actual football experts like Tim Vickery, Dotun Adebayo, Adrian Goldberg, Charlie Methan, and a host of other former players and managers you've probably heard of. So please, if you're into football or soccer, hit subscribe.
So Mark, I have a question about the ad.
Yeah, go on.
Do you have a Cricket Smash ad that plays in the middle of Football Smash?
I haven't yet, but I'm gonna make one. I need to figure it out. I got one of the things I do work wise means that I go to St. John's Wood at least kind of once a week. So I might pop down to Lord's one day,
Yeah.
and make an ad. Maybe when Nick's around. Actually, there should be something quite exciting coming up on this channel about Sri Lankan cricket, about Sri Lankan Test cricket, in the next week or so. So look forward to that. And maybe when we record that, should be recording that later this week on Thursday. And if we do record that on Thursday, then I'll make a Cricket Smash ad there, because I'd like to get some mutton rolls involved in it as well. So right, let's have a look at the comments section. Sanuda, a lot of comments from Sanuda, of course. Same thing again and again, 20s and 30s, but not 50s and 80s. It's frustrating, isn't it? At this stage,
Right.
It's frustrating.
And it's not even the 50s that are not turning into hundreds. It's like people are getting starts and not even converting them into 50s.
Yeah. This comment's interesting. You can't pick Pramod as your leading pace in your pace attack. I totally agree with this. I don't really understand how this has been allowed to happen today when you consider how much great bowling we currently have at the moment. I think Pramod Madhushan is somebody who's done a job for Sri Lanka in the past, and he will continue to do a job for Sri Lanka. But I think, it's not just him. There was a comment about Pavan at 7 as well.
Yep.
I don't understand it. It's kind of, square pegs around holes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get players to do things that they're not doing in other parts, other times.
This is another point that Sanuda's making. Mendes should not be a classic number 3. He's capable of doing more than that. He's someone who can win you games. This is BS from our management. Bro, let him be Mendes. Don't force him to be a Dravid. And I think that happened in today's match, right? Like, he comes in, wickets fall, and you can tell he's being coached. Stick it out, stick it out, stick it out. What's the point in playing 7 real batters if you're telling one of your most explosive players to stick about? Like, come on. I think, and I want to be a little bit, I know I'm being critical. I think ODI strategy is going through a bit of a rethink between World Cups. I think teams are less ready to play and there's lower quality of play, but putting that aside, it's still been very poor from our guys.
Let's kind of look ahead a little bit. I'm not sure when the next time we're playing ODI cricket is. It might be England when they come over in January. There's this whole idea that Sri Lanka will play some cricket in December, but nobody knows who it is at the moment, or what it is, or where it is, or how, what format it will be. There's obviously this T20 World Cup in February that is, emerging on the horizon. Knowing us, that probably means they'll rustle up some test matches against Ireland in December or something.
Right.
Yeah,
before exactly what we need. Mark,
Oh, go on.
I was going to ask you. So, we talked about Eshan Malinga.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked about how we want him to get some game time. What's still fascinating for me is that he has played, I think, 7 or 8 ODIs, but no T20s. The news came through a couple days ago that he had been retained by SRH. SRH has a plan for him in the future. Kamindu also was retained. And then I think there were two other Dushmantha Chamira was retained, and Nuwan Tushara. Those were the 4 Lankans retained in the LPL. It's stunning to me that Eshan Malinga has not gotten a go in the T20 side. I hope he gets a go, because watching him today, if you're playing in a one-day match, he's kind of easy to get away because you can score ones and twos. But if you're having to hit him out the ground or hit him for fours and sixes, he's a lot harder because he bowls that
Yeah.
really full length. So you can see why he would be an extremely effective T20 bowler, but he's still trying to figure out his way a little bit in the one-day format.
It's I'm just worried that we might look back on this era of Sri Lankan cricket and just think like what could have been, because you kind of feel like we've got a lot of good players and we're not making the best out of them, right?
Yeah.
With you know, we're not adding up to the sum of our parts. Traditionally, I would say Sri Lankan cricket has kind of outperformed the sum of its parts. Currently, right now, you kind of feel that it's kind of the opposite, right?
Yep.
Wrong players playing the wrong roles. Ishant Malinga, how he's not played T20 cricket for Sri Lanka is beyond me.
Yep.
I do also think, you know, we talked about this hold that they've now got in December with the LPL not being on. It kind of does feel, and I haven't got the numbers on top of my head, so I don't know, but it kind of feels like we're not playing as much international cricket as once we did. It kind of felt a few years ago that Sri Lanka were kind of constantly playing international cricket, and it got a break of about 5 or 6 weeks. It was pretty rare, but now it seems like there's massive gaps between Sri Lanka playing cricket.
Yeah.
And I think it's just starting to kind of impact the way how things are kind of shaking down for us in a way, because actually you're like, right, how can you build stuff? Going back to today's 11, I'm not critical of the fact they changed things. I wanted to have a look at players. I'm critical of the fact that players are playing in the wrong places.
Exactly.
In the wrong times and asked to do things they don't normally do. Just because players think they can do it doesn't mean that they should do it.
Yeah.
Like, is also another kind of thought of mine around it. I want to know, it'd be good to know, because we kind of felt during the Mahela era, we kind of felt we knew what the ideas were of how the game was playing, and we could also plot out how they were going to do it. I want to see that with this ODI side.
Yeah.
Right? If you go back,
they have 2 years or a year and a half to figure this out. There's plenty of time.
If you go back to that West Indies series at home, where was it Darren Sammy who was complaining about the pitch, whoever the West Indies coach was at the time, and you're like, the kind of Sri Lankan perspective was stop moaning. We lost, you guys lost, we won, it's all good. Actually, you think about that now, and you're like, well, we should be preparing truer pitches at home and better pitches, because at the moment it's not doing us any favors when we go away, is it?
No, and as I said, 8 out of the last away ODI series have been lost. We've kind of gotten ourselves up the ranking by playing at home a lot. We're 5-18 since 2021. It's very, very frustrating to see that there's this discourse. I saw some journalists tweeting, "Oh, it's very clear that Sri Lanka's ODI team has turned a corner." Absolutely not. I think they're struggling right now. I think what we saw is a really poor performance, and if they were to go against, they went against a good pace attack and really struggled against it on true wickets. They struggled with leg spin. We saw that.
Yeah. I think this comes down to we're not playing enough international cricket. I don't know how SLC can kind of fix this to a degree, because they'll go, right, we'll sort out more international cricket, but playing Afghanistan, Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, who I all love dearly and they're great, but playing them at home isn't really doing much for us.
It's not helping us, right?
It's not helping us. If you're going to play them, go away. I think play Afghanistan in the UAE, play Zimbabwe in Zimbabwe. Playing in Zimbabwe at the moment is a great thing for us, because this World Cup is in that part of the world. They're going to host games in Zimbabwe with the final in South Africa. So I think home series at the moment are not doing us any favors. I think basically, apart from India, you'd back us against every other team in the world right now at home. It's away from home, we're abysmal. Sadly, the next World Cup, ODI World Cup, isn't at home. So we've got to address it.
It's the most foreign conditions to us. It's South Africa.
Exactly. Dom, should we wrap it up there for today? Unless there's anything else I've missed from it. As I said, I am hungover, so
Yeah, no, let's give
you know what
give
we
Mark.
should quickly discuss though is our reviews, because I think our reviews have been a disaster this
Yeah,
this series. I was interested with Crystal Mendes' captaincy though. I thought that was interesting.
I think he's a much more active captain. Like you can hear him at the stumps, like giving instructions to the bowlers. He was rotating through the bowlers to try to make something happen. I thought, I thought they put up a good fight with not enough to defend.
Yeah.
And I do think, there's some problems with the review system. Also, there were some weird decisions like the Muhammad Rizwan LBW, where it obviously went off his thumb and it would have been smashing the wickets. Also, the Tikshana overturn, like DRS overturn, was like it's not bouncing that much on this pitch. But
there was a few weird decisions. Let's leave it there for today, Don. We'll be back. Murali End will be back definitely on Tuesday after the first. Sorry, when's our first T20?
Thursday. It's Thursday. The 20th.
Sorry, yeah.
Because Zimbabwe and Pakistan play first, and then we play Zimbabwe.
There might be some content on Cricket Smash around it on Tuesday. Let's see.
Okay.
And
even I don't know what this is, so I'm excited.
We're trying to do a review, a preview of the T20 series tomorrow as well. So you might get that if we can kind of make it work. Sorry, when they move the matches, it does obviously have some sort of impact on us because we've obviously got to do real jobs as well. Anyway, we'll be back later in the week. See you all then. Bye.
Bye.
It's a Murali End, you're the place to be. Analyze the players and the team. Keep a great company in the stream.
It's a Murali End. Welcome to the show. We're here when you're high. We're here when you're low. Some days you're happy, some days you wanna when happy it's we when mad it's them. It's the same place, Murali End. Sri Lanka cricket we go represent. Go tell a friend.